Well, it is 2023 and nobody cares about aliens. I'm only kidding, of course, but it's interesting, guys. I'm going to discuss the dynamic of aliens, what's going on. They're discussing them openly. What are the possible reasons that this is all being done out in the open? Congress asks, are aliens real? Many Americans respond, not interested, with a little meh response. Yeah, guys, this is the thing with aliens, and especially at this point, let me find that. There it is. Stigma associated with sightings silences possible witnesses. So they're basically saying people don't want to come forward because everyone will say you're faking it, you're a liar. Let me just say, when it comes to UFO sightings in 2023, you can't just say, oh my God, this happened to me and I saw this and I saw that. Nobody's going to believe you. We're at the point now where if we don't get legitimate video footage of an alien, it's just not going to be believed and it's going to get thrown out. But why is everything so out in the open seemingly these past few years to where they're discussing it, they're admitting, yes, UFOs are real. We have recovered non-human DNA and other elements. They're admitting that at this point in Congress. Why would they do that? I think there's a few different options. Number one, they're trying to slowly introduce the aliens to kind of our culture and get us acclimated to the idea that aliens exist. Our government could have possibly known 40 or 50 years ago that aliens exist, but now it's getting to the point where they want to let the general public in on it for whatever reason. I don't know. Are there becoming more and more sightings? Is it harder to conceal and hide? What is the reason they would tell us? And it's like an acclimation process where it's like every few months they give people a little bit more information until you just can't hide it. And Biden comes out and says, oh, they're real, or whoever it is, whoever's president at the time. And it's like the citizens are already acclimated. We're already ready. I mean, we're already seeing that in Congress. Nobody really cares about this stuff. If this happened 6 or 7 years ago, just randomly on a Tuesday, people would be like, what are you saying? So it really is remarkable. So maybe it's them trying to acclimate aliens to the general public, kind of like you do with a goldfish, or you go to the pet store, you get a fish in a bag and you want to acclimate the temperature of the tank. You leave it in the tank floating for about an hour and then you release it, you acclimate it. That could be what they're trying to do. Are aliens real? People online don't seem to care either way. The congressional hearing on UFOs Wednesday was met with a collective shrug by many Twitter and TikTok users. That's because there's no real big data from the hearing that says they're real and we can prove it and we have video and we have a photo and we have a sound. There's none of that. So people just keep equating this with everything else. And I think the general person can admit, based on how big the universe is, it is virtually impossible for aliens to not exist. The only question was always is, do they have the technology to make it this far and communicate with us? For all we know, they've got a massive grid of all of the different planets that have human life and their developmental stages. Aliens could be just us, but 2,000 years from now, imagine what we're going to look like. It truly is remarkable. They're probably just at a different time in their civilization. For all we know, there could be another human-type civilization out there that is in the Stone Ages. It's really remarkable to think about all of the different possibilities. And I thought this was a good tweet. I keep being asked what I make of the UFO thing in Congress yesterday, so here it is. I watched a few clips and saw some people who seem to believe stuff saying extraordinary things without presenting extraordinary evidence. Therefore, I have nothing more to say other than it would be great if true. Again, if you're not going to present the evidence nowadays to the general public, there's going to be nobody's going to care. There's going to be so much skepticism. And then we also do have the other thought, if this is not the government introducing aliens to get us acclimated, is this just one giant distraction? Anytime something big happens within the government, they don't want people to know about, they don't want the news to pick up on. throw out some alien information, there you go. Oh, they're real. Or could this be a widespread thing to where you bring the threat of aliens on and then you use that threat as a way to strengthen your grip over the population, and it's the idea of uniting citizens against a so-called deadly alien invasion or whatever it would be, and people are willing to give up certain freedoms to protect themselves against aliens. That could also be it. Either way, it does seem like, honestly, at this point, I'd say once every 3 months we get UFO trending, we get aliens trending #1, and something happens. So it is getting more and more frequent, but we're still waiting for that big evidence. And it is funny how we adapt to this stuff so quickly. Again, 6 or 7 years ago, this would be a groundbreaking thing. They're talking about aliens in Congress. That's the whole idea. Maybe they are trying to acclimate us to the fact that aliens do exist. And then realistically, what does the average everyday person even do? So, okay, aliens are real. What are they going to do about it? Apparently, Trump and Obama have been briefed on UFO reverse engineering. They call them UAPs now. UFO, UAPs, whatever you want. Reverse engineering and recovery program. So both Obama and Trump coming together to announce to the world that yes, aliens are real. Yes, we've recovered their UFOs. That's what would bring the world together right there. And then we've got this. This stuff is just remarkable. Campaign finance charges on Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX. This is the scammer. Have been dropped. This is unusual. He gave millions to politicians, and there wasn't a list of which politicians and groups he gave money to until now. No, that list has been public really since his arrest. But it is remarkable that you guys know the story of Sam Bankman-Fried. This list came out and everyone's like, whoa. So you've got a bunch of fake money. You're a scammer and you're pumping. To be honest, it looks like the Democrats' pockets full of money and full of campaign dollars for the 2022 midterms. And then Sam Bankman-Fried says, no, I also gave Republicans the exact same amount of money. I'm completely bipartisan. I just couldn't disclose it because people will look down on me if it shows that I gave a bunch of money to Republicans. And then, of course, basically every single person here is getting completely scam money to win the 2022 midterms. But listen, maybe he did give some money to Republicans. I don't know. It's just funny to see this stuff. And then the charges get dropped the same day the alien crap comes out. It really is, you know what? That had to have just been a coincidence for sure. Government absolutely in possession of UFOs. Did we really need a hearing to prove that? That's a nothing burger there. The free speech scare. Well, yeah, free speech, especially online, I don't think it's going to exist in 5 to 10 years, depending on what site you go to. I mean, listen, did it even exist in the first place? I would say not. You've got people, really, before Musk took over Twitter, arguing against free speech. I'm trying to talk to these people like, no, this is America. Twitter is something to where we share our ideas. There's a lot of young people on that are very naive. We have to allow good and honest debate. You can't silence people, which in turn silences younger people from seeing arguments and things like that. You cannot do that. This is America. We should want debate. That was my argument to Twitter people before Musk took over. And of course they said, no, it's a private platform. We have to stop disinformation and misinformation. And now we've got 70% of Democrats saying, no, we don't want free speech anymore. We're so scared of disinformation and misinformation. We can't have free speech. And even 39% of Republicans, according to a recent poll, agreeing with it. So it's about 55% of Americans say, listen, we don't want free speech. There's too many crazy people. They've bought in. The media has definitely won in that regard. And it is better to just silence people and allow the big-time social media companies to choose what is good speech and what is bad speech. Of course, what could go wrong with that? But guys, I just wanted to talk about the UFO situation and how it's funny, nobody cares. And if their plan really was to indoctrinate us and kind of get us ready for it, they've done an amazing job, because here they are out in the open talking about it. I will admit, yes, there is no hard proof. Feels like at this point, I mean, we need to see like a naked alien or something. That's really what we need to see at this point, and everyone would just go crazy. It would be great, but then really people would just go back to work. That's what people are saying. It's like, we see the alien, they exist, we see the UFO, we see the photos, the crash site, whatever, and then we all just go on with our day, because what are we going to do as the average everyday citizen? There's really not much you can do unless they start flying around the air. So I think all of this alien stuff is going to get questioned no matter what. If they tell us they're real, people are going to question it. If they say, oh, they have information on something, people are going to question it. It is healthy. It is good. Yes, people are more paranoid, but it's because they have more information. The access to information has never been greater, and it's only improving day by day with new technology. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.